One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hears battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Whistles report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Yes, sir. Good morning to everybody. Shout out to all of you in the Breakfast Club. You guys watching this morning, man. I got to give you guys a round of applause, man. Shout out to all of you guys. And humongous thank you. We got some memberships going on this morning. And so let's see. It shows Steve coming, not only a member over here, but then he goes even further and then goes to who's the OG now. Boom. He doubled that. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know how he did that. He went from like a prospect and then, which is the 3 different ranks within the membership. So he did that and then he upgraded. That's super dope, man. And then Wolfheim coming in behind. Appreciate you, my man, with the YouTube membership, man. Man, you guys don't even know that keeps me in business. Seriously, this is what YouTubers can actually rely on. You know, the membership. That's actually the best way to actually get paid on YouTube. So I very much appreciate you guys. So shout out to you guys in the Breakfast Club, man. Hardwire, good morning. Good to see you again. It's like, it's so funny. I see all of you guys in these different chats and stuff, you know what I mean, before the show. So yeah, it's super great to hang out with all of you guys and see you guys again. We got Tatsu up in the building this morning, for you afternoon. You know what I mean? Over there in England. Appreciate you for being here, though, Miss Lotus and Carney's Ride, Ghost Eagle as well. Damn, man, it's always awesome. We got Shay all the way over there from Dublin, Ireland, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you, Shay. Hopefully all is well. Holy shit. Wow, Dean. Wow. That makes me like be beside myself, like no cap. You know what I mean? I'm not even capping. Appreciate you, Dean. Thank you so freaking much. That goes way further than like people even understand. So appreciate you, Dean. Mega love for that. So we've got an interesting news, little cycle this morning. It's a little different. So the whole, thing that we've got, I got labeled right here is federal agents make arrests involving Bandidos Motorcycle Club. Well, it's a very, very short announcement about this in the news. It's not even something that is like readable because there isn't anything there. It's like a 20-second clip and like, hey, they've been arrested. So what we're going to do is we have another story to go even behind that. We're going to run back to back here on the Motorcycle Club set wise. We're going to go ahead and discuss, but we're going to go ahead and dive deep into this real quick. I'm going to show you what I mean by, them making this a very short thing. So this is off of coat.com, which is a branch of like ABC7 or whatever. Okay, so before we watch the video up here, this is literally all they write. Okay, this is the whole stupid article. Like, that's as dumb as it gets, dude. Like, but hey, at least we know it just happened, because it's kind of breaking. And then I'm sure they're going to report on this as we go. You know what I mean? So this is just to let you guys know this happened, and then we're going to be following this guaranteed. All right. So Albuquerque, New Mexico, the FBI Albuquerque division confirmed an investigation and arrest involving the Bandidos Motorcycle Club, a violent gang task force, which includes FBI special agents, was in the area of 4th Street and Guadalupe Trail Northwest on Wednesday evening, July 24th. And I'll be not surprised if they say literally the exact same thing that we just said right here that they say in this video. And we'll find out right now.
FBI says it's working with state police to serve a search warrant involving the Bandidos Motorcycle Club.
It happened near 4th and Guadalupe Trail in Albuquerque. The violent gang task force includes other agencies. They say the warrant is part of the ongoing investigation into the motorcycle club. They also say they were able to recover several firearms from the scene. We'll continue to follow this story as it develops.
Yeah, so they're going to continue to follow it, as they, go. Wow, Wolfheim, appreciate you, my man. Have some coffee on me, he says. I really, really appreciate you, man. Thank you for the super chat, man. I very much appreciate you, man. Dean, it's always amazing to see you in here, man. It's always a great time. It definitely helps, dude. Like that's mega, for you guys. I know that I want to see the show grow, and I know you guys want to see the show grow. So I very much appreciate that. You know what I mean? Glare 1%er, appreciate you. Good morning, kind sir. Hopefully all is well. Much love, loyalty, honor, and respect, kind sir. Yep, Albuquerque news. That's right. But so we're going to get into something a little interesting here. Something that I think is very wholesome. You know what I mean? Hook Dog, I appreciate you as well. I see you. Martin as well. What's going down? What's going down, gentlemen? All right, so let's go ahead and move on over to a different little story here. We're going to move this screen. Boom. And all right, so this is off of WFMJ.com. This is a branch of, I believe, CBS or whatever. Okay, so motorcycle club to host suicide awareness bike run to benefit rescue mission of Mohaning country. So I don't know where Mohaning is. We're going to find out, obviously. Last year, there was a 74% increase year over year in the total number of meals served. Now, this is dope. This is dope. This is what I like to see and hear in the news. All right, so the Steel Hammers Motorcycle Club is hosting the second annual Suicide Awareness Bike Run next month. It will be held on August 3rd at the Biker Brew House in Austintown. The 22-mile run will lead to the winery at Pine Lake. There, an hour-long break will be held until returning back to the brew house for an afternoon full of activities. It costs $20 per rider and $10 per passenger. The first 100 participants will get their choice of a run patch or a challenge coin. I dig that. Additionally, there will be a 50-50 raffle and live entertainment from DJ Init, Turbo Lovers, Together We Fly, and the Other LA. Pre-registration for the event begins at 10 a.m. through 11:45 a.m. Kickstands go up at noon, according to Steel Hammers. Donations collected at the event go to the rescue mission of Mohaning County and help provide shelter, food, and essential services to those in need, according to a news release from the club. So according to Lynn Wyant, Chief Development Officer for Rescue Mission, the organization has seen an increase in people looking for meals. Last year, there was a 74% increase year over year in the total number of meals served. In 2023, about 105,125 meals were served, and that number is expected to grow. Now, that's what I love to hear, man. Like, I got to give a round of applause to them guys. That's super cool for them to, give a fuck like that. Steel Hammers, shout out to you guys. Seriously, that's dope. What's up, Code? Shout out. I see you up in here, my man. Good morning. I hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful morning over there in Philly. Hopefully all is well, my man. We got Road Rage in here saying 3 bad paging horns at the top of the wall in the warehouse, and we had to open a wall in the front office to find a stinky, unalive animal stuck in it. Dude, that sucks. That's terrible. That totally sucks. Glad to see a full house today. You are all legends. You guys are all legends, man. No cap. That's true, man. It's true. I really appreciate all of you guys. What's up, Mike? Hey, Joker, my man. How's it going? What's going down with your bad self? You know what I mean? And also SNS, I very much appreciate that right there. Letting everybody know that hitting the like button is the #1 metric of all of YouTube. It literally tells YouTube we're doing something right, and it pushes it out to a bigger and broader audience. So if you guys would like to help out, hitting that like button. And if you're not subscribed, man, do it. Appreciate you guys, man. Very much appreciate you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Smash that like button. That's right, Code. You already know the deal. You know the deal. All right. So I thought that before I go into my time that I was with Black Dragon, well, I mean, I guess we can do that since I can do that beforehand and then go into the back end of the stream because I'm going to be reviewing some footage of an insane debate with that Destiny character that we did on members only, where I think I showed a few. No, I didn't show that. That was members only. So you guys in the members only know that I showed Destiny, or maybe it wasn't just this one. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Some of you guys know at least that Destiny was on Pierce Morgan, and he got destroyed on Pierce Morgan. So there's a very big debate that happened last night that was like anticipated for like the entire like month, guaranteed probably the biggest debate in a long time. And probably since obviously the presidential election. I mean, everyone is like, they look at this one guy named Andrew, who is like on the conservative side. He's the best debater. And then supposedly Destiny is the best debater on, the liberal side, whatever. Anyways, tell us what Uncle Dragon said. That's right. I'm going to go ahead and actually pop up my Instagram and show you guys. So I got over there to Hotlanta, you know what I mean? And the first thing we did, because I was starving, dude, I hadn't ate all day, you know what I mean? And so I drove there and it took me like 3 hours and 15 minutes. Like that was easy. Now getting home yesterday was a little bit longer. It was like 4 hours because I caught bad Atlanta traffic. And then not only that, but it was raining the entire drive. So yeah. And you're going to deal with some traffic in that, BS. And all the way back home too. But anyways, so we get over and it poured rain on us. It was pouring, dude. Like you can see Dragon's shirt is completely soaked right here. But we go to this first place called Magnolia Room Cafeteria, man. And holy shit, this was Look at this shit. Oh, hell yeah. Millennial food time. What are we eating? What's this place called?
Hickory House.
Hickory House.
Yeah,
Look at
they,
that.
They weren't able to do it. They were basically told from above, if you do that, we'll take your guts. And so
Serious
higher
get
ups
down
are
with the
aware
food,
of
man.
that.
We wanted cornbread.
Those are hot, by the way.
That's right. Back home. Sweet home Alabama.
Yep. Can't play the music on there. And this was last night. For my sponsor, by the way, shout out to Jay Goldbar. You know what I mean? He always hooks me up. That's what's up right there. Yes, sir. Anyways, and then I had food last night as well. You know what I mean? I cooked up some steaks for me and my pops, and we had a good time. We had a very good time. That's, all smiles when it comes to steaks, man. All smiles. Yes, sir. So, I hate Atlanta, not just the traffic. No, I get you. I get you. Where Dragon lives, he lives on an outskirt of Atlanta, and it's really nice. I was actually kind of surprised at how nice the area was. I'm running late today. What up, Shane? I very much appreciate you for being here, my man. Thank you. It means the world that you're here, man. Hickory House has some fire ass food. Abso-freaking-lutely. And it's funny because I didn't even show off like a few of the meals, or 2 meals that me and Dragon went to, man. We had a lot of good fun, man. He showed me around the town, he showed me around, or city, I should say. I'm so used to being in a town now. But yeah, we had a great time, and I'm very glad that I was able to go and do that. I'm very blessed to have a schedule like that can do that. And it was just time. It was finally time to, meet him in person, man. So we had a very good time. Thanks. Big special shout out to Black Dragon for having me, hosting me, housing me. So I very much appreciate that shit, man. But yeah, the food down here in the South is like just dumb. It's too good. I don't, it's like, what have I been eating for 28, 29 years, Gunpowder Nitro, what's good, my man? Damn, I still logged into the wrong account one of these days. One of those days. I understand that. Steve actually is having a rough day himself. Let me scroll back, because it's actually pretty hilarious. You're gonna be like, oh shit, like my day is not way too bad compared to brother Steve over here. Let me see if I can even find it. It's way too good. Oh man, I'm looking. Apparently he got himself all sorts of messed up. Here it is. Man, I'm having a rough morning. I spilled coffee and wax all over the side of my truck, so I went to wash it, and the car wash sprayer blew up and soaked me. Yeah, it feels ultra bad, dude. I'm glad I found that. I didn't know millennials could eat without a phone recording it. Stop being stupid, dude. That's way too good, though. I like some of the food in the South, but a lot of it is not for me. What's your favorite? Like for me, my favorite's like any type of seafood. Like I'm a big seafood connoisseur, so I'm down with it. And I love barbecue too. You know what I mean? Damn, it was rough. Yeah, it sounds rough, dude. Absolutely freaking lutely. All right. So since we heard a really cool story there, we're going to move on over here in a second to, this debate that we're going to be watching. We're now, again, there's never like a really good point to start watching anything when you're watching it from like the middle. So I'm going to give you guys a little context about it. And basically this is the debate, as like Destiny kept using in his debate platform with, not only now, but with Piers Morgan and all of this on television. His whole excuse for his behavior is that, Republicans and people that are voting for Trump are supporting an insurrectionist. Okay. So then the actual debate is about, was January 6th an insurrection? Was it a riot? And, there's distinct, definitions, and they go after it, and they actually really debate this shit. And so we're going to check that out here in a second, man. It's going to be some good content, man. Do you feel at home now? Wolfheim, man, I felt at home the second I came here. I'm not joking, man. I'm totally above and beyond blessed. I know that the situations and opportunities I have, I don't take advantage of, or I'm not taking for granted those things, because I know not everyone has opportunities like I've been able to have. I have had some really, really amazing things happen, and I've had some really, really fucked things happen too. And so it's kind of like one of these roller coasters of like extremely lows and extremely highs, man. And I take the good with the bad, and I really do love it here, man. So thank you for asking. Gumbo is great. Ghost Eagle, 100 motherfucking %. Smash that like, homie. When I wake up in the morning, I'm going to shit in my hand and rub it in my hair. After that, my day has to get better, dude. It has to. You're forced to get better from there. It's all uphill from here, you know? Yeah. Yeah, gumbo is fire, dude. 100%. I'm from New England, so South seafood is not that impressive, but the ribs and chicken is on point. Yeah, Steve, I do agree with that because I'm from the West Coast, and my biggest thing, I could eat like any type of, I mean, I'm talking real seafood. Like, I mean, I can eat it all raw. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all about it. But yeah, like the Southern, mentality here is definitely more of like fry your shit. You know what I mean? And for me, I'm kind of a little bit opposite of that. But yeah, what up, Cuzzo? I appreciate you for catching the stream, my man. You know the vibes, absolutely. Shout out to you, man. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. I like that. I like that. Slim, what's good, my man? That's life, brother. It's always ups and downs. That's absolute facts. And once you learn to, like, life goes like this, right? If you can learn how to be stoic, where your emotions are right in the middle the entire time. You don't over celebrate. You don't get depressed. And when it gets to the lows, yeah, you definitely, I'm all about that. I'm always about that. Stoicism is something I try to practice, man. Come ride these PA mountain roads, man. Hey, Martin, I am freaking ready, man. I would love that. I would seriously love that, Martin. We got to set up a time to like hang out like that. Absolutely. I'll barbecue year round, no matter the weather. Yep. GEG, I feel that. Are you going to rise in weight now? What do you mean by that? In my weight? Because of, I see what you're saying. Because I'm in the South, things are deep fried. Okay. Well, I do eat a freak ton. I mean, you guys see the posts I post all the time on my Instagram, and I show you guys what I'm eating and all that shit. I'm always hammering some good ass food. And my parents, my family, friends, everybody, my brothers, everyone, they watch me eat and they're like, dude, you out eat us and you're this skinny little dude. Like, where do you put this shit? I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to actually catch up with me eventually. I have no idea, but for some reason first of all, I know I have a fast metabolism, so that's got to help in that regard. Right. But yeah, most likely, bro. If it wasn't for the down, we shouldn't know what an up is. Exactly, bro. If it wasn't for the downs, we have to know, we have to understand darkness to understand light, Learn that prospecting, not gonna lie. Yes, sir, Cuzzo. Yes, sir. Stoic. 100%. The dude called Chuck. What up, man? Quote, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Yep, that's exactly right. That's love me some stoicism. 100 motherfucking percent. Shout out to you over there, Chuck. I made a new version of jambalaya. I made it like usual, but added in smoked barbecue and sauce. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Numb the pain, bro. That's right. We are both on the way to high cholesterol now that we moved to the South. Exactly. We're on a fast track to high cholesterol. 100%. Must have a hollow leg. Hey, that's where I put it secretly. Nobody knows where I put my weight in my food. Put it in my fake leg. You know what I mean? It also it makes for a really good like chugging. Like you can put like 6 beers in that leg. You can have that as your cup. You know what I mean? It came fast for me. One day, the stomach ache just was there. Watch out for it. Yeah, that sucks, dude. Set up to so you got it together. Leave colors at home. So we can be judgment-free zone and Insane Wheels family, regardless of club. I love that. I can't wait for your show. Is your show going to start tomorrow or is it starting Sunday? Everyone go over there nonetheless, go over to Hardwire 1%ers YouTube channel and go subscribe to him. You know what I mean? We're all going to support him. Appreciate you guys for doing that. All right, so let's go ahead and move into this debate that I was talking to you guys about with Destiny. All right, so this is this is essentially being streamed off of 3 platforms. Well, 3 different creators. All of them in here are creators. And we have Andrew right here on the right, who his name is Andrew Wilson. He runs a YouTube channel called The Crucible. It is the fastest debate channel, growing debate channel on the platform. He's a blood sports debater. And, this is what he's all about. He loves political satire. He's a satirist in this regard. And anyways, he's like the icon for the right, and Destiny is the icon for the left. You know what I mean? So anyways, I'm not going to go ahead and go into a big spiel about Steven, who's Destiny, because I think you guys already know. We have done some review footage of this dude before. And also Destiny's, his YouTube channel and his Kick channel and all that shit. That's where he streams. And then we have Fresh and Fit. We have Myron Gaines, who is just hosting the debate, who is supposed to be the moderator. So anyways, we're going to be diving deep into this. This is about the January 6th, the quote unquote insurrection of Capitol Hill. So we're going to go ahead and review some of this footage and see what they're talking about. This is a debate that happened live last night. So let's go ahead and check it out.
So I will go ahead and set the timer here for 5 minutes. I guess, who wants to kick it off?
I can kick it off real quick.
Okay.
So,
Go
Michael
would you
Simmers.
agree with me that
Lee Lance, what's
the
good? Shout out
motivation
to
for
Tennessee.
demonizing the opposition political party often revolves around calling them traitors, accusing them of treason, and pushing for some type of villainization.
You're
that
so
they
funny,
are
Steve.
Against the country, they are against you, they are against everybody.
For another debate, maybe, but that's not at all any of the subject here.
Who's
any of the
Chubb?
subject matter here.
Well, I think it is. I think it ties in because I believe that the motivation for why you're claiming that the other side are a bunch of insurrectionists, though you have no direct evidence of this, and your own criteria is just that of basically a riot, that your motivation is just to demonize the opposition.
Sure, but this isn't a debate over my motivation. I could be motivated by 100 million different bad faith factors, and literally none of them would be relevant to this conversation. It could be the fact that the DNC actually paid me money to give this precise argument, and Kamala's on the phone with me right now, and it wouldn't have any impact on this particular debate.
I think it would be. I think that the motivation.
I don't
for
know
why
what
you're
he
making
means.
The argument
It wouldn't.
itself would have an impact on the debate, but I am willing to concede that if you just want to keep it to the material, we can. Let's move over to point 2 then. Point 2, you say resisting any law or interference with the course of a government proceeding wouldn't fit rioting itself. How does that not fit rioting itself? Of course it does.
Well, let's say, for instance, the purpose of a riot was because you felt like the law wasn't being enforced. It wouldn't make sense to call that part of an insurrection. Let's say, for instance, that there was let's say that there was a lynching of a person.
He's like, I agree with that point.
Upholding their duty or whatever, and so you decided to have a protest that turns into a riot, and you'll show up with the goal of protesting and rioting because you felt like the law wasn't being carried out here. You wouldn't really call that an insurrection because they're not.
I agree with that sentiment, Steve.
Just because again you engage in unlawful conduct doesn't mean that you're trying to resist, like the implementation of the carrying out, resisting the laws.
That would be the same case with insurrection then.
No, because when you're insurrecting,
absolutely, Hardwire.
Intent, right?
Yes, yeah, correct. Yes. So the intent would be the contravening of the Electoral Count Act. When people
Oh
say
man, Lee, I really appreciate you, man. That's humongous, man.
Capitol grounds where people are going to protest.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate kind comments like that, and to hear that, like, I actually like bring some sort of value to you guys, man. That's why I do this shit, man. And you guys, I can't do the show without you, so I really appreciate it. All right, let's get into it.
They're protesting the execution of the Electoral Count Act, which demanded that Vice President Pence count the electoral votes. Donald Trump didn't want that. He made it very clear in the days preceding. Him, Bannon, Eastman, Chesbrough, and everybody else that was working alongside him, Sidney Powell, everybody else, was saying that we need to prevent Pence from counting the electoral vote. That was the execution of a lawful government function.
Yeah, but even if
an act, and that's people going there to protest.
Yeah, but even
against.
if all that's true, Destiny, it still wouldn't matter because the events of January 6th themselves, the intent of the people could have just been to riot, not indeed to commit to any sort of treasonous insurrection activity. And you have failed to demonstrate this time and time again, how this actually would meet the criteria of an insurrection. Them showing up. And
we are all
just
family.
like
That's a
take
fact.
2021, right? When you say, hey, look, the damage would have been way worse if they had shown up with the purposes of actual insurrection or some type of 1776 mindset. This is the most armed nation on planet Earth. How in the world can you say these people showed up specifically in order to do that? That makes no sense, man.
None of this law, none of that argumentation was stuck with her. People they obviously showed up to protest the certification of the vote. They were called there by Donald Trump.
If it's a
on
non
January
sequitur,
6th.
then you in 2021 were using a non sequitur when you made the argument that from the appearance of this, it could not have been an insurrection.
2021 Destiny was incorrect
Yep.
because 2021
The only
Destiny didn't have the
person
historical
armed and did any sort of violence, chat, was the police that shot that woman through that door. That's the violence that happened right there. No, I know. But Chuck, what's great about this is why I'm showing it, is why I showed the Pierce Morgan clip of him debating on Pierce Morgan uncensored, is because he's getting demolished. And he's supposed to be like the top debater for the left. So I love watching when they get rammed off the road with this shit. You know, I personally just love it. I love when people can actually have a good debate, though, too.
Context to understand an insurrection. If you want to bring him
I'm
on
really
here and
into
talk to him, you
debates.
can.
I am
don't
talking
agree with
to him.
everything that
You're
I said.
not
You're
you.
not. I am 2024 Destiny. I have learned more things. I have done more studying. I've read more papers, and I've done more research on this. There is actually
There
a
is
strong
3 time
understanding
zones,
of what
Hardwire.
an insurrection is, and there was a strong.
There's
historical
actually
understanding of
4,
what an
actually.
insurrection is.
4, sorry.
And the idea that a bunch of people were called on January 6th, the date wasn't a mistake. When Donald Trump sent them down there to protest, when he said we need Mike Pence to do the right thing, what was he talking about? He wanted him to contravene the law, and that's what people marched down there for them to do.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Trump said
100% Chuck.
30 minutes before this began that this needed to remain a peaceful protest on
No, he didn't.
Twitter.
He never said that.
He did. I actually have the
No, he
tweet.
didn't.
I don't like Ben Shapiro.
He
I'm going to
did.
be honest.
He did
Steve,
say that.
never
in the
have.
speech, he said to fight like hell, and in the speech, he said that we need to go.
I'm
down.
talking about his tweets. Why would a person put out? Why would a person put out a tweet to be peaceful if their intent was insurrection?
Oh yeah, that's a fucking fact.
Why would a
GG.
person call a protest on January 6th? What do you think they were protesting?
And you don't have to be anything, by the way, Martin.
People call protests all the time. That doesn't mean that the
We're not
purpose
talking
of
Everyone
the
that,
protest is
even if you
insurrection.
are liberal here, it's welcome,
The
100%.
purpose of the protest was to go out. And
I want to
show
hear your
support for
guys'
Donald J.
claims
Trump.
and rebuttals. I want to hear your
There
side.
was a variety of reasons.
I'm always that way.
Wait. Are you telling me we can't?
I'm going to give you a variety of reasons. You can't say no. Are you saying there wasn't a variety of reasons why people didn't show up?
Nope. I think there was one clear reason.
Oh, there's
a reason why no one got charged for insurrection. No one.
Okay, what is the one clear reason? There was not a variety of reasons. Some people didn't show up just because they wanted to see what was happening. Some people didn't show up just to support the president.
I'm going to let you guys know. Guardian Writers, he says not a Shapiro fan, but he is one of the best debaters of our time. Wait until you see Andrew Wilson here, him debate not just this topic, I mean, obviously, but this guy right here. I have never witnessed a more well put together, well spoken, and witty with it. Like, meaning off the fucking like dome. There is no like thinking periods. There's nothing. This guy is unbelievable when it comes to debating, and it's all live debating. You know what I mean? There's no video editing and all that shit that does happen behind the scenes on a lot of this shit. This right here is all live, and this guy is a blood sports debater to the T. And I think he's probably the best of our time, this guy right here. And a lot of people actually really do agree with that. I mean, this guy is incredible, fucking incredible. And I've watched Shapiro, but I'm not a big fan of the dude. But anyways.
Some people didn't show up because they really like to go to protest. Everybody showed up for one reason, right?
I didn't say everybody showed up for one reason. I said they were called there for one reason, and that was to protest the certification of the election.
Guys, that is time. I'm happy to let this play out longer if you guys want, and add an extra minute to the clock. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah, we can add an extra
I'll
minute.
add an extra minute to the clock, and this is still round 1 of the open discourse, but just try to limit it to 1 minute, and then we'll go into round 2 of it. And then we can go from there. And if we need
appreciate
more
you,
rounds,
Tats.
At the 5-minute mark, we can absolutely do that. So
I have a
for
problem
real,
with
Chuck.
describing motivation to all. He says there's one clear reason why everybody showed up. That's clearly not true. That doesn't even logically make sense. He could never demonstrate in a million years that there was only one clear reason why everybody showed up. That's a nonsensical argument, Destiny.
That's not the argument that I'm making. If the
That was the argument you made.
if the debate
Yeah,
is whether or not
100%.
January 6th is an insurrection, not did every single person on January 6th engage in the crime of insurrection, or did
You as
every
well,
single
Tats.
person on
Appreciate
January
you.
6th go with the intent to
Then
commit
why did
an
you say there was
insurrection?
one clear reason?
I
why
said that
everybody
there was
showed
a
up?
clear reason why people were
30
called there,
seconds?
because there was. Donald Trump called people there to protest not on January 5th and not on January 7th and not in a random part of DC and not in a random part of the country. He called them on January 6th to the ellipses that was less than a mile walk away from the Capitol building, which is where he sent every single person after his speech. He called them there on the day of the certification of the
That
vote.
doesn't
after
tell us
spending
their
days
motivation.
trying to pressure Pence to overturn
What's
the
up,
election.
That doesn't tell us
Paranormal?
their
Appreciate you for
motivation.
being here, my man.
For the lawful slates of
Much
elections
love,
to be counted,
honor,
the
and
legitimate
respect.
ones that he submitted, and people went
Bro,
there.
even if I
they
grant your
engaged in
logic, it
violent
makes no
behavior,
sense.
and they managed to delay the certification of the election,
Destiny,
which is
even if
exactly
I-
their. So then, do
you-
you admit then? Do you admit then that
No,
they
I don't
happen to
admit
do
anything.
exactly what
Even if I grant your logic,
they
guys,
happen to
real
do
fast,
every
real
single
fast.
Yeah.
thing that an
Destiny, give me a
insurrection
chance
calls
to
for
respond.
without
Guys.
actually engaging in an
This is
insurrection.
dynamic
give me
right
a
here.
chance to respond.
Real
So
fast. No,
I not only
hold on,
do I
Andrew,
concede,
Can't hear
that,
him.
but your logic.
we ran out of time on that round. So what I'll do is this: I can see that this is a dynamic conversation, and clearly it's going to go out the bounds sometimes of a time round. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and set the clock for 10 minutes.
Good.
That completes round 1 of the open discourse. But I see that this is a dynamic argument, and me just stopping it randomly at 5 minutes would probably be stupid. So I'm going to let it play out. I'll put 10 minutes on the clock.
Smart
and have you
thinking.
guys go at it. Is that okay with both of you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Destiny, are
Sure.
you okay with that?
This is professionally
Yeah.
set up
Yeah.
debate.
Because I don't want to interrupt you guys again like that. So I'll just go ahead and put 10 minutes on the clock, and I will start it right now. You guys, you can pick right off where you left off, Andrew.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So
but
Yeah, no
to
kidding, Steve.
respond, right? And I'll be more charitable with the time back your way now that we have 10 minutes, Destiny. But it's actually an illogical argument to make, to say, even if Donald Trump had some certain intent in his head, that would not mean that the people who were showing up for the protest had that intent. So the thing is like for you, both ways, it's a double entendre for your own logic. Either one, you claim, wait a second, there's one clear reason everybody showed up, or two, no, there was no clear reason why everybody showed up. They had multiple motivations, even if Trump himself had a different motivation. This is illogical argumentation.
I'm sorry, but this would never be applied to anything. If somebody says, "Hey guys, we're all going to show
That's
up,"
not
so
an
that we can
argument
go
either.
and I'm making the argument right now. If somebody were to make this,
It's not an argument
"Hey guys,
either.
we're all going to show up to go and blow this building up," and a bunch of people showed up, and then a bunch of them marched with the crowd, and then they all went, and a building got blown up, we wouldn't say like, "Oh, well, we don't know what the intention of the crowd was. We don't know what the intention of the leader there was. We don't know what actually happened there," because we can't divine the intention of every single individual
That's
person.
a ridiculous
we can
straw
say
man.
we can say that's,
Mm.
you can call it a straw man, but the
It
idea
is.
that in order for me, okay, hold on. What would I need
So
to
hang
show
on, let me
then?
respond
What would
to
I,
your
no,
first
wait,
argument,
hold on.
and then
What
you
would I
no,
need
no,
to
no,
show?
wait,
What would I
no,
need
there's
to
no
show?
spurging. Let me respond to the
There's no
argument.
spurging.
You're not even letting me talk. You can respond to my argument. You can
You
finish
made
your
an
part of this.
argument. Let me respond, and then you can ask the second argument. I think that that's fair. So when you're talking about this from a logical standpoint,
Oh,
when you
Andrew's
say,
the best.
oh, if somebody called and said, "Hey, we're all going to blow this building up," yes, I would agree that you could probably ascribe the motivation to it. Then, can you show me a tweet or any type of anything from Donald Trump saying, "Hey guys, show up, we're going to do an insurrection"? No, you just
Yes.
made this shit up.
Protesting.
Okay, fine,
so
so I
the,
can.
the argument is that in this part, protesting is obviously legal, but rioting is not. Anytime you're resisting the law, you're breaking other laws in the midst of doing exactly that. So, anyways, yeah, that's kind of what they're talking about. A little bit they're about
So
to
as
get
part
into.
of Donald Trump's speech, I'll give
And
you 2
you'll
quotes.
see.
Our country has had enough. We
What
will
up,
not take it
Turpy? I
anymore, and
appreciate
that's
my
what this is
man.
all
What
about.
up? What
And
up?
use a favorite term that all you people really
Gary,
came up
what
with.
up?
We will stop the steal. Today, I will lay out just some of the evidence proving that we
What
won
up,
this
Papa
election. We won it
Penguin,
by a
my man?
landslide. This was not a close election. The first quote. The second quote, we must stop the steal, and then we must ensure that such outrageous election fraud never happens again, can never be allowed to happen again. When he says stop the steal, when they're at the Capitol building on January 6th, and when the election is being certified, what does stop the steal mean there?
Wait a second. So, first of all, you're attributing to Donald Trump's rhetoric here something which he may not have intended. None of that actually shows or demonstrates that he was calling for an insurrection on the Capitol. You are just kind of ascribing that motivation onto it for the purposes of convenience. You have to show me there where he calls, like your example was, if I say we're all going to show up and blow up this building, that was your example, and then people show up and do it, we can understand their motivation. I agree. You have to show me where he says, "Okay, guys, we're all going to show
Absolutely,
up and do an
Papa.
insurrection." You can't then take words that don't say anything about an insurrection and say, "But I think he meant that, though."
So then, just before I answer this, what would I have to show you to show that an insurrection was what Trump was planning? What
You
kind
would
of
have
evidence
to
would you
give me
need?
you would have to give me the criteria first and foremost of something which fit the criteria of an insurrection better than some other thing. And you would have to make it refutable to that thing from what people were charged under. So if the criteria is, I'm going to give you what I think an insurrection is, and it fits a different criteria better than an insurrection, and under that criteria, that's what people were
No
basically charged
freaking kidding,
under,
Steve.
then it sounds like the other thing makes more sense than an insurrection.
So are we going
that
with the
totally
argument that
seems to
for
track
X
to me.
event to have happened, X, like some person needs to have been charged with the crime?
No, your logic there is faulty as
Then
well.
why do you have
Oh, shit.
Let me respond.
Hold on, you
So-
can't just talk for 20 minutes and then as soon as I say
well, I
one
didn't.
sentence,
You
you
can't
ramble
ask
for
me
another
a
20
question
minutes.
and then move to
I
another
can ask you a question and then ask another question as part of my question. I'm able
Yeah,
to
but
do
I
that,
wasn't
right?
even
Oh
able
my
to
There's
God.
two
respond.
elements to what I needed to prove. The second one was that I have to show why people weren't charged with a crime. I've answered this thing 50 million times. We can center on just as one point if you want. Just because somebody hasn't been charged with the crime of X doesn't mean that an event related to X didn't occur. This is true.
Yeah, but the
literally
opposite
every
would
single
equally
time.
be true. The opposite is also true. Just because they weren't charged with the crime of X doesn't mean they committed the crime of X either.
I'm not
Jeff.
making that argument. You're using this argument as a way to negate my argument.
Yes,
Just because I'm not
it's
making
called a
the
counter
opposite-
argument. Yes.
No, hold on. That would be like you saying John couldn't have
No
murdered
kidding,
Jane
Hardwire.
because John wasn't there. And then I say, well, no, that's not true. And then you going, well, just because John was there doesn't mean that he murdered Jane.
Nope,
Yeah,
the
that's not
opposite.
the element that I'm
Nope, the
giving.
opposite is
I've
true.
given you four clear things.
Wait. No,
Would
wait.
you
Hang
like
on.
to
The
give
opposite
me
is
an
true.
argument that, or give me a definition of insurrection, or do you think it's
Stop.
undefinable thing?
Hang on. The opposite is true. I'm not saying that. So you say, oh, John murdered Jane, but that can't be true because he also may not have murdered Jane. You're making the claim John murdered Jane. And so I say, okay, that's your claim that he murdered Jane.
No,
Can
he
you
doesn't
define
have
for
an
me
argument
what the
here.
criteria would be in which you would consider this to be murder? And you go, well, and then you define for me something that is not murder or fits some other criteria better. Would not a rational human being,
5 minutes
including
in,
you,
halfway.
take that and understand, wait, if it fits this other criteria better,
No
it probably
freaking
isn't
kidding,
actually
Hardwire.
murder.
Speaking facts.
What part of my... Can you give me an example? I'm just curious, and I shouldn't even.
Blair,
go through this,
100%.
Just up to this point,
You can
you've
see
given
it
me no
happening, and
definition
it's
of
just going to get
insurrection.
more
You
and more
seem unwilling to
heated.
do
It's not
so.
my burden.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying you've given me no
No, I'm not
definition of
gonna- I'm not-
insurrection.
I'm
You seem
giving you
unwilling to do
nothing.
so.
It's
So
not
then
my
my
burden of
question would
proof.
be: can you give me
It's
a
not my
riot?
burden.
Can you give me a riot that would fit all 4 points that I've given?
It's not
of
my
what
burden
I've
to do.
defined an insurrection. Well, then you must accept my definition of
I
insurrection.
don't
Because
need
you're saying
to
that-
accept.
you're
Why
saying
would
that
I
my
need to accept your
definition of-
definition?
Because you're saying that my definition of insurrection isn't valid because it also applies to riots, and I'm telling you very clearly, no, it doesn't, because riots don't typically happen in a planned
Exactly,
manner to
Hook Dog.
contravene
That's
the,
right.
Execution
He
of some
doesn't have
government
a leg to
function or the
stand on.
implementation of
That's
some
right.
particular law.
That's not what
So
your
I'm asking
definition
you-
says. Your definition
I
says
said
under
it's
point two,
resisting
any
some
law.
law or interfering with the course of a government proceeding.
Yeah, so you're
Correct.
just changing your definition.
I'm not
Straight
resisting-
jacket.
Do you think that resisting a law is the same thing as breaking a law?
I think that it could be synonymous inside of people's minds, but no, I can see the distinction with merit. But when you say resisting any law or interfering with the course of a government proceeding, that sure sounds like a fucking riot to me, Destiny.
Okay, can you give me an example of a riot where that happens?
Where BLM burned down a police station. That seems like it's
First of all,
resisting the law.
Yeah, so that's what law were they resisting the implementation of? What law
the
were
law
they
of
resisting?
arson, the law of rioting, all sorts
Okay.
of laws.
So you're telling me that those riots were trying to make it so that arson was legal? Can you point me to a tweet? Can you point me to a statement where somebody was saying we're rioting because we think that the laws against arson
Wait a
are
second.
illegal?
Can you show me in your definition where it says that the purpose of the insurrection is so that they can make something else legal? Because that's nowhere in your definition, Destiny.
Resisting any law or interfering with the course of a government
Doesn't say
proceeding.
I
anything
definitely
about
can.
making something else legal. You just made it up.
Paranormal, no
you're-
kidding.
You're saying that they're resisting the law of arson. Nobody's arguing that the law
Yeah.
of arson is bad. Just because you're breaking a law doesn't
What's
mean
Getting
you're
the or?
hammered.
resisting
What's the
law.
or? What's the or?
The or
3
for
minutes.
what?
3
It
minutes.
says
left.
or interfering with the course of a government proceeding. Would you not consider if somebody interfered with the FBI, for instance, for that to be interfering with the course of a government proceeding? Or if somebody interfered with police officers, that would be interfering with the course of a government proceeding?
Police officers are not federal police officers.
don't-
If you want
but
to talk about
federal's
interfering
not
with, if you want to
required.
talk about,
Yep,
where you are, because we're
so
talking about
fucking
It's
January
not.
6th.
We have
See?
your definition. It's not
Where
required.
did January 6th happen?
But it does. We have your definition.
Why would I be
Destiny.
arguing about the definition of an insurrection in a state when we're talking about an insurrection that happened?
Well, then
on the
can you
Capitol
show me in your
grounds?
definition where it says it must be federal for an
I don't
insurrection
need to. We're
occur?
talking about an
Well, then
insurrection
if
that
it
occurred on
doesn't,
federal
it doesn't
grounds.
matter. So then any of the criteria which would apply at the state level would still apply at the federal level for rioting. It's the same
I don't
thing.
know if insurrections are state defined. I'm not aware of that in the historical record.
Well,
Can
you can't
point
have a
somewhere
state
where you can-
insurrection. Why couldn't
I'm not
you?
aware of some. Can you show me where in the historical record where that's
I'm
ever
just
been
asking
stated?
why you couldn't have one.
We're getting
Because
into
I'm not aware of any having
semantics.
occurred
That
historically.
doesn't mean you couldn't have one.
You just claimed that it's possible.
I didn't make a
I'm
claim.
Oh, okay. Then we're not. No one is claiming here that an insurrection is.
No, you
possible.
are
Okay,
making
cool.
a
Gotcha.
claim.
All
You're
right.
making a claim on
I'm
your
making
4
a
points.
positive claim that there could be a federal
That's
insurrection
right.
because I have a historical record of there being statements about insurrections federally.
He
and
brings that up,
historically.
Straight
I've never
Jacket.
had a statement.
I would
about
think
a state
someone else
insurrection. I'm not
does.
aware
A
of any of
caller
those.
does
Yeah,
at the
you are
end.
aware of
you
one of
not
those,
being
feel free to
aware
tell
of
me.
any doesn't mean that the criteria could not apply to a state insurrection, correct?
That's correct, but we are talking
that's
about an
correct.
No
insurrection that
freaking kidding,
happened on federal
Paranormal.
grounds, so we're
Yeah,
obviously
I
talking about
agree, but
federal
your definition
insurrections.
doesn't require federal anything. That's not what your
Okay, so we have
definition requires.
Okay, I think if this is if the only holdout you have is that your definition of resisting a particular law just means that you are breaking a law, then I think I'm satisfied.
No, it's not. Or interfering with the course of a government proceeding. This could be localized for
It
non-localized.
can't be. No one here has made
Yeah,
any
it
claims
can
about a
be.
non-federal insurrection. Okay, well, if those are your two holdouts that you
Well,
think
okay, well,
is
what
a
is
clause that
or
is
what is
breaking the law,
or
or
interfering
that
with
the
the course of a government proceeding mean? What does that mean?
The record that I'm invoking, we're especially talking about things relating
No
to
kidding,
insurrection, and
Straight
we're talking about
Jacket. Very
invocation of
accurate.
insurrection, which is my understanding has only ever happened in federal law and in stuff relating to the United States government, not a state government. If you want to show me it happening or show me a historical record or a state constitution or a state criminal statute that references insurrection, then we can talk about that if you want to.
What does
We're arguing
or
about-
interfering with the course of a government proceeding mean, Destiny?
or interfering with the course of the implementation or the
30
execution
seconds.
of some particular federal
30
law.
seconds.
It has to be federal?
Yes, because we're talking about the federal government.
No,
We're
that
talking about
doesn't mean it.
insurrection.
Hang on. So
Yeah.
you're doing a classic kind of Destiny bait and switch where you say in this particular case it would because that's what we're talking about. Okay, that's fair, but that doesn't mean that that's what the definition says. The definition itself does not say that it must be federal. It
Who-
doesn't
you don't
say
even
that.
agree with my
Hang
what
on.
definition are you
It
even referring
doesn't
to
say
here?
that anywhere. What does or interfering with the course of a government
That is 10
proceeding
minutes.
mean? What does it mean?
That real quick, guys. That is 10 minutes. What I could do is
And we're about to get into the weeds here, but what do you guys think of this debate so far? You know what I mean? Yeah, they went into semantics there at the very end of what I just showed right there. But Destiny uses the logic that, you know, if you support an insurrectionist such as Trump, that's his whole thing. If you support an insurrectionist, he basically would make fun of you. That if you die, there's, it's okay because you're a part of the problem. Stuff like this. So having, this discussion was actually very needed because Destiny does, whether or not we like it or not, he does have a large following. And he has, the way he speaks to his audience, he radicalizes them all the fucking time. And so being able to have this dynamic, which honest to God, Destiny has been avoiding Andrew Wilson to do debates because when he did his first debate at Fresh and Fit over there, they had their very first debate probably like 6-7 months ago, maybe a little longer. Anyways, Andrew Wilson destroyed him back then. And he knew it, his audience knew it. And so Andrew was calling out to constantly debate Destiny, and Destiny kept dodging him. Well, finally, they got him on here to do this big debate against Andrew Wilson because it's hard to debate that dude. You know what I mean? So anyways, let's go ahead and get back into it and see what they're about to talk about.
because I see that there's a discussion here between federal, if an insurrection can be federal or state. I will go ahead and
Totally
reset
lost.
the clock. I think maybe this is something that we can kind of hone in on. Can an insurrection be obviously we're talking about it from federal level, but can also be at a state level. Do you guys want to shift that conversation to there and make this round specifically for that? Are you guys okay with that?
I don't know.
Oh,
State insurrection. I'm just not even aware of that even being a thing. I don't think I've ever heard
Well, I don't
of
know,
that.
Destiny. Were
so
the
I'll put
DC
clock
cops local?
I'll put the clock for 5 minutes.
DC
and we'll
cops were
do
federal.
this.
No, all of them were federal, eh?
The District of Columbia is federal.
So they
Yes,
have
it's
no
federal.
they have no state police there at all?
What
yes,
state
sir,
police would they have
paranormal.
there?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
I don't believe so. No, I'm pretty sure even the
Okay.
National Guard, they're directly like the chain of command goes up to the president. not a
Process
state
was
government.
good, my
Did
man.
states have state governments?
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't understand why you couldn't have an insurrection against a state government by this
You should
definition.
consult the historical record and come with an example next
Well,
time.
just because you never have one, I'm asking you if you can.
I'm not here to debate whether or
Yes,
not you can have
Chuck.
an insurrection against a state government. I'm
Well,
here to
I
debate
don't
whether or
That's
not
why this
January
was
6th is an
important.
insurrection
Definition doesn't
because
include
January
federal.
6th. No, this is like asking if a murder occurred on January 6th. In that case, I would only be talking about murder as it's defined in federal law, not in state law. We're talking about an insurrection on whether or not January 6th was an insurrection or not. So I'm only going to be appealing to federal law or federal historical
Yes,
understandings of an
but
insurrection
wait a-
against the United States. So I don't know why we're saying, well, what about a state insurrection? I don't
Because-
know. I'm not even
well,
aware if a state insurrection is a
because this
possible thing.
is
I've
a
never heard of that
semantic-
reference before.
this is
It's
a
Yes,
just
sir,
semantics.
Hardwire.
It's legal and it's
Fucking
historical,
facts right
and that's
there.
what we understand.
No, I'm fine with the semantic distinction. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm actually just trying to make one. So you agree that that you gave me a definition that it nowhere includes the word federal, correct?
I also didn't give you a definition that includes the word human or that includes the words like in this present point of time and not like in the future or time traveling in the past.
Oh, boy.
Or that doesn't include like dimension C138 or that like there's a million other
So
things
what?
that I didn't include.
Yeah, I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Because why would I include the definition of against the United States when we're talking about an
He's just
insurrection that happened
spurging.
on federal grounds?
Because
if you
your
want,
definition
if
of
you
an
want, I could
insurrection
simply
matters.
add. Okay, well in that case, I will simply add on my second
Aren't
part.
you appealing to a state court, for instance? Like, what are you talking about here?
Appealing to a state court for what?
Aren't you appealing to a state court for this definition? Isn't that what you said? Did I get that wrong?
I'm appealing to right now. I'm appealing to
That's
federal
right.
history. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm asking, where did you get this definition? Let's start with that.
There's a writer who studied I think it was
Yup,
constitutional law,
100%
specializing in
Dean.
the 14th Amendment.
Sad.
His name
Now
is,
he's doing way
Mark
better
Graber, and these are
than
the 4
expected.
qualifications that he basically lists out, and then he goes through a number of historical examples to say as much. There's also a much longer paper written about the I think it's like the sweeping power of Section 3, written by I think Baud and
I think
Paulson,
Papa, all
who
he
write,
was
like,
doing
130
was
page
testing
paper,
his
but they go
logic
through
back
listing, like,
on
the
him.
historical
That's
understanding of
what he was
insurrection.
doing.
If
He
you
was
want, we
testing his
can
own
dive
logic
through
against
any part
him
of the paper or
earlier.
Does
any part of the
he
definition,
say
or-
in this paper that it's a
Massive love,
requirement
Hook Dog.
that
We'll
this
see
be
on the
done
flip
at
side, my man.
Federal level.
Mad
Nobody-
love,
I don't think
Wolfheim as well.
anybody talks
Appreciate
about
you, by the
state
way, for the
insurrections.
super chat.
I don't think you can levy war.
Look
or
at that,
engage in
man.
insurrection.
Real quick before he leaves. Shout out to Wolfheim for the super chat earlier, man. It means the absolute world. As well as Dean, by the way, gifting over 20 freaking dollars to the channel, man. Dig everything you got going on. I very much appreciate that. And Wolfheim also became a member as well as his donation, man. So big shout out to all you guys, a part of the Breakfast Club, and you know, helping the show out like that. It means the absolute world. This is how we continue to do this show. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, let's get back to it.
Against the state. I'm just not aware of that. I've never heard of that brought up before.
Yeah, but
Like,
I'm
I don't
just,
think,
I'm just
like for
asking.
instance, like when you say treason, if I were to give you a definition of treason,
Mhm.
I don't know if you can commit treason against like the state of Iowa. I think that's only a federal crime.
I have no idea either. This is why I'm asking.
I can't say I can't say for sure because maybe there is evidence of it out there, but
Thank
I don't
you,
know how to debate
Dean.
that because it's a debate about federal.
Well,
federal
all
insurrection
I'm
on
doing
January
is doing
6th.
an internal critique to try to figure out if this is consistent across the board, your definition. I'm not even saying that there's necessarily anything wrong with it, but what I am saying is that there's something wrong with the fact that it seems to fit rioting far better than it would in insurrection. So if we go over these one at a time, an assemblage would fit a riot. That's what Destiny says. By force or intimidation fits a riot. That's what Destiny says.
Well, it's an assemblage of people for an assemblage of people for a common purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. An assemblage of people. Yes.
Riot.
So they've come for a common purpose. Okay. And then
Okay.
two.
Absolutely,
is to
brother
resist any
Steve.
law or
Mad
interfere with
love
the
and
course of
respect, and
government
yes,
proceeding, right?
and-
Resisting
so everyone knows we got the members only live stream tomorrow morning, Saturday mornings, man. We have a good freaking time over there. We show some crazy ass shit over there, don't we, members? You know what I mean? All you guys in the Breakfast Club, you guys know what's up over there. I can show a little bit more over there than I can talk a little bit more because we're not talking to the general public. We're talking to the members. You can be a little bit more wild over there. You know what I mean? So yes, and thank God it's Friday, right? You know, oh shit, it's Friday. It's a great thing to like spring and go, oh shit, it's Friday, man. Yeah, absolutely. I did that this morning too. I'm like, oh shit, it's already Friday, man. But yeah, man, absolutely. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys have a good one over there. I see you guys heading out. Appreciate you guys
Or
for
resist,
stopping in.
Resisting a law. That's not just breaking a law, but you're there to resist a particular law. There's one you really don't like. And then 3, you're showing up.
Yeah, but
force
wait,
or
we have the
intimidation.
or there. We have the or interfering with the course of a government proceeding. Wouldn't that be even resisting police? Wouldn't that qualify for that?
No, a government proceeding would be like the Senate confirming like an officer of the executive agency.
You
or
would
like a
have to
confirmation of a
demonstrate that. I don't believe that that's true. I think that you can interfere with government proceedings, even absent there being some actual proceeding that you're interfering with. I think that
Well, if
this
you would
can be
like to
done with just
introduce-
localized laws.
That's fine. And if you would like to introduce your
30
own unique
seconds?
definition of
30
insurrection,
seconds?
you can
Why would
do
I
that,
need to
but
do
I'm-
that? We have
because I'm
yours.
unaware
30
in the
seconds.
historical record of anybody suggesting that interfering with police officers is a matter of insurrection or can lead to an element of insurrection.
Are
I'm
there
just not
laws
aware of it.
against rioting?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know there's laws against like things that happen in rioting. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
like a law of rioting.
Are you resisting those laws
10
when you're
seconds.
rioting?
No.
You're not resisting those laws when you're rioting.
No, unless
What?
you're literally
No.
rioting to say we should make rioting legal or we need to get rid of the prohibition on rioting.
And that is 5
Wait,
minutes.
why would that be a qualification to
Real quick, guys.
resist the laws?
Because
Stephanie?
breaking the law and resist, do you acknowledge that breaking the law and resisting the law are not the same
Well, tell me
thing?
what the distinction is, so I'm not confused anymore.
All right, I'm
Breaking
gonna
the
reset
law
the
is when you
clock.
do something that's illegal, and resisting the law is
Put another
saying that this
5.
particular law shouldn't exist.
Yeah, okay, but if you're rioting, how do you go about
You just put another 5
resisting the
minutes
law?
because he knew.
Well, you could riot for the purpose of overturning a particular law. You might
Yeah,
say,
but
"I
you're
don't like."
resisting other laws then, right?
No, you're not. You're not.
I know
saying
you,
that
you can
rioting
see
should
it
be
too,
made
huh? Straight
illegal.
jacket.
Yeah, but even if you weren't, you would still be resisting laws that were on the books against rioting.
So if I can't divorce, okay, well, we can just disagree here. If you think that resisting and breaking the law are the same thing, we're at an
I
impasse.
didn't
We
say
can't
that
go
they're
there.
the same thing. I
Right,
said
they're
that
not.
necessarily if you're rioting to resist some other external law. So let's say I think that
You
there's
can, hold on. Do you agree?
I
we
think
can do
I-
this
let's
really
say-
easy. Do you agree
hang
that you
on,
can
bro.
engage in rioting? No. Do you agree that you can engage in rioting and
No
accept that you
joke,
might get
Ghost
arrested for
Eagle.
rioting?
Yeah.
Then that defeats your entire argument. You can
How?
engage in rioting without resisting the law of rioting. Understand
Yeah,
that, well, I'm
but
going to riot, but I might be
actually
arrested
that
for
makes
it.
my argument. That makes my argument. So the thing is that
Yes,
even
I
if
do
I
know
concede
that
it's
to be a fact,
that
Chuck.
you could
That's right.
be,
That did happen.
rioting with the expectation that you get arrested for this X thing, right? You could do this for murder as well. You could do this for basically anything. You could commit any crime with the expectation that you could be arrested for the crime itself. But that would not say that you're not resisting whatever the current laws were that were on the books about that crime. You're saying that the necessity here is that you are resisting some other thing. Fine, but you're also resisting laws by the very nature of rioting. So I don't know why you would have to have something which is externalized while you yourself are still breaking laws. I don't think.
How are you resisting the
See,
law?
what I love
How are
about
you
Andrew here is he tests his. And he does this with every debate. He just goes and tests their own logic against them. You know what I mean? And so he's a pro at doing that. So he understands your worldview 100%, and then tests your own worldview against you. You know, and that's how he allows them to basically demolish themselves.
Resisting laws of rioting by rioting.
Well,
What does
because-
resist mean to you there? How are you defining resist?
Yeah. So assuming I can give you an example of this. Let us assume for a second that people are rioting in an abortion clinic because they want abortion overturned. I think this is the spirit of your argument, right?
Even
So
in the
they're
spirit.
rioting in an abortion clinic. They want abortion to be overturned. You would agree with me then that they are pushing against abortion, but they're still breaking laws while they're rioting, right? So they are resisting current laws, even though they're resisting another current law. And I don't think that you would consider that to be an insurrection, even though it could fit all of the criteria of these elements. It's an assemblage for sure.
Oh, no shit, Papa
You're
Penguin.
resisting some other law that you don't like, or you're interfering with the course of a government proceeding. You would say that that fits criteria too. You would say that this is by force or intimidation, and you would.
Papa, would that be because you're theoretically like government property, and that's why it's illegal for specifically people in the VA to riot? Or is that a charge that anybody can get? I'm checking out once again, brother. Love the channel. Keep up the hard work. It pays off. Lee, I very much appreciate that, man. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, man. I'm here Monday through Saturday, man. And even when I went to Black Dragon's house and was there for the last couple of days, We continue to do the show. I did the Diamond Effect. I did 3 whole ass episodes in 2 days. You know what I mean? While I was not here in the studio, right here where I do the show normally.
Would say it's for a public purpose.
Oh,
that clearly is
Virginia.
not
I
an
thought you meant
insurrection,
in,
Destiny.
for the VA or something like that.
The issue is that like abortion is not like this isn't a federal law. I could just grant you that we can move to the state example since you seem unable or unwilling to
Let's
differentiate.
assume
between
for a
state
second
or
that it
federal law.
was. Let's assume for a second it was a federal law.
Okay, you know what? Actually, we can do that. Let's say that the federal government passed a law either allowing or not allowing all abortion. Okay, the government either allows it, everybody can have an abortion whenever they want, or nobody can have an abortion. Okay, let's say that I gather a group of people and I say, listen, okay, fuck this abortion law. We're all going to get together and we're going to go protest. Okay, and we're protesting. The goal of our protest, all right, is we want to get rid of the abortion thing, whether it was passed or made illegal. Okay, we want to get rid of this law, and we're going to show up with a whole bunch of fucking people, and shit's going to get rowdy. And we're going to, we know what we're doing. Okay. It's the day that in Capitol Hill that they're going to sign the law into whatever. We march down there, and in the course of protesting, like it becomes a riot. And
that's the
riot
problem.
and everything there was because of that particular law being signed into practice. I would say, yeah, that was an insurrection. You've shown up with a group of people.
You're calling that
the passage of some particular law.
Whoa, what?
Oh shit!
Stop the cap, bro.
Stop the cap.
Now he's calling that example could be an insurrection. Stop it, Destiny. Stop, dude. Oh my God.
You're showing up through force or intimidation, and you end up exercising that, and then it's for the public purpose of a particular law that impacts everybody in the United States. I would say that is an insurrection. Yes.
Not really, Road Rage.
So
no.
if
Would you say that that's not an
I
insurrection?
like what I
would
got.
say that it would not be an insurrection, at least by this criteria. That would just seem to me, again, to be a riot. That would seem to fit the criteria, again, of a riot better than an insurrection. I still can't exactly figure out the delineation point, and I'm trying to. And now, to be fair to you, it is nebulous. I understand it's nebulous, but I'm also not the one who's making the affirmative claim. You are. So you're saying that if a bunch of fucking dope smoking hippies wanted to resist the federal law of being able to smoke marijuana on federal land,
This
and they
is a
all
good
showed up and
point.
they got stoned, and then they started rioting, that would be a fucking insurrection?
If they went there with a common purpose, they were trying to resist the implementation or execution of a particular law. Yeah, theoretically, it could.
Well, no, they're just resisting, right? They're just resisting a law. They're saying, we're here to protest the fact, man, that we can't smoke weed on federal property, man. So they all grab their blunts and they start toking up in protest.
10 seconds.
Right? And then they start a fire.
What do you have?
And
I
kick
need
some stuff. And kick some stuff.
Do you think
hang on, I just want to make sure. You think
it could be,
that would be an insurrection?
The historical record, it could be, yes.
Oh my God.
Do you have any definition of insurrection whatsoever? Or do you
don't
just
need to give you
real?
a counter definition.
If you're not going to give me a counter definition, I can give
it's
you
not his burden to do anyways.
Doesn't include necessarily a public purpose. I've already given examples of riots that wouldn't fit my definition of insurrection, and I really only need to give one, and I automatically win. A riot could very much be in response to a particular sports team winning a game. Boom. That's an example of a riot. It doesn't fit my definition of an insurrection. I've differentiated between the two, and unless you're going to give me any countervailing definitions, I automatically satisfy that.
Yeah, but I already did.
Right.
We're interfering with the course of a government proceeding in and of itself. I think that the necessity of rioting in and of itself. What if you blockade
Yeah, no
a federal
kidding, Chuck.
highway?
You're watching it happen in real time.
In and of itself. Wait, what?
I think,
No,
yeah,
hold on, wait.
I think that,
To be
that
clear,
rioting,
do you acknowledge?
itself,
Do you
you're breaking
acknowledge that I
crimes by
just
rioting.
gave you? Do you acknowledge that I just gave you an example of a riot that wouldn't be an insurrection under my definitions?
So I think that would even be appropriate. I think that you could give me tons of definitions of riots that would not fit this definition of an insurrection, but that would not mean that this definition doesn't fit the definition of riot better than insurrection.
Right.
You understand?
Wait, so if somebody was protesting and it got really violent after a sports game, how would my definition fit that?
No
better
fucking
than
kidding,
insurrection
Papa.
fit that
What
better
if they
than
were
a-
blockading a federal highway? Would that be interfering with the course of government
He's
proceedings?
straight jacket,
because there's a
100%.
federal law that says you can't blockade byways on federal highways. I mean, this is the thing. Is
I
that
don't know. I don't think that
this
counts
becomes
as a
this
like a
becomes so.
proceeding.
Do you see what I mean? Though this becomes so broad that we can begin to just add all sorts of things and call them insurrections.
What is the government
So here, let me
proceeding?
give you an example. So if we're going to be totally good faith here, right, which I've been trying to be this entire debate, but I
Yes.
think you would concede that. If we're going to be really good faith here, do you really believe that if a bunch of hippies showed up to smoke a bunch of dope on federal
Force him to
property,
answer.
okay, and a few of them got wild and started a fire and kicked some shit, right, and fucking, I don't know, somebody got beat up with a bat because there was tens of thousands of them who showed up for that protest, Do you really believe that that would fit the criteria of what most people think of, including you, as an insurrection?
Right.
If they didn't go there united by like a particular public purpose,
The public
if they
purpose
weren't
was
there,
they were going against this federal law. They don't want the federal law. They're resisting that federal
just
law.
so that we don't have to waste more time on this. If you want to stack this enough, all I'm going to end up doing is saying that, like, yes, this would agree as I would agree that this would be an insurrection.
No kidding.
You're not able to demonstrate.
That's
That's why I'm
exactly
asking
what's
you, like,
happening.
historically, can
Go
you give me an
Siegel.
example of an event that you don't think I would want to classify as an insurrection?
I don't think
that
I
would
need to,
classify
because
as
I
an
think-
insurrection.
so
But if you're
here's-
just going to give me
so
examples where you're just
don't
going
need to. Well, here, I can give- I'm gonna give you the ultimate example right now.
Yeah, I would say that was an insurrection.
Nobody in good faith anywhere is going to agree with you that if a bunch of hippies showed up to resist the marijuana law on federal property, and then a few of them started a riot, that they would consider that insurrection against the United States. I don't believe you believe it. I don't believe your audience believes it. I don't believe anybody believes it. So if that is the case, that it's so broad that that will encapsulate that, I'm actually fine leaving the debate there too.
Oh,
I mean, again, it doesn't really matter what we would consider to be an insurrection. The only thing that really matters is what the historical record says at the time was considered an insurrection.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Again, I
because
literally
nobody's
think
prosecuting anybody for it. So
you don't have to. Well, you're just retreading. Technically, I think this might be a gish gallows when you keep bringing up arguments that have been rebuked over and over and over again.
I don't think
you can keep bringing it up over and over and over again. But again, we agree that, like, we can walk in and
He's
see, wow, this
frustrated.
person was murdered, and go, oh, really? Who was
Destiny,
charged with
poor
murder?
Destiny.
Okay, fuck. Or wow, there sure is a riot here. We saw that a riot happened. Well, who was charged with rioting? Oh, fuck, I guess. Like, you don't need a charge of a particular crime, and the barrier or the bar for charging somebody with a particular crime is probably a lot higher than declaring an event a thing itself. Doesn't make any sense to say because somebody hasn't been charged with a particular thing.
It
But
also
So
doesn't
brutal.
make any sense to say that
we're not
just
talking about
because-
criminal charges.
It also doesn't make any sense that to say that because they haven't been charged with a particular thing, that means they're guilty of the particular thing either. That's the
I'm not-
flaw in that
that's
argument.
my
I pointed it
criteria.
out multiple
My
times. Your
criteria is
criteria
not-
doesn't
Yeah, you can
actually
keep it.
flow with this, correct?
Yeah,
My
adding
criteria
laws is not the
because
answer.
They weren't charged. That's why it was an insurrection. I'm
Right,
use that as
right.
part of my
BLM
criteria.
were
I don't know.
insurrectionists
hippies
then.
everywhere. Don't
100%,
show up to federal
right?
property to
Off
protest by
of
smoking
Destiny's
weed,
definition
because
here.
If a couple of you start a fire, you're going to get brought up on insurrection charges. Said nobody ever. That's insane.
We're not. No, I don't know why we keep bringing up insurrection charges. No one's talking about a criminal charge or a criminal proceeding here. That's
Yeah,
not
criminal
what's
charge or criminal proceeding. That would be a charge, right? That's why.
Yeah, nobody's talking about that here. Nobody's talking about criminal charges here or criminal proceedings here.
So but you would still consider that an insurrection, right?
An insurrection doesn't have to be a criminal matter.
I just want to make sure that you would still consider that an insurrection.
seconds.
If all four elements of what I said were met, then
All
yes.
right, fine. Well, then I'll leave the debate there. I'm good with that.
So what I'll do.
Woo!
So we went 7 rounds here, and I was just timing it and everything else like that. I see that there's obviously
What do you guys think of this shit?
Definitions of what fits what, etc. So what I'll do is I'll go to closing arguments.
All right.
I'll
we'll-
put.
We'll
Are you
we'll
both
listen
okay
to the
with
closing
3 minutes
arguments.
on the clock to make your closing argument? Or I
Wait,
can
how
make it a little
long?
bit
How long
longer
for the
if you guys
closing
want.
argument?
3 minutes. I'll go to close
Okay,
that after that.
3
Yeah,
minutes.
Or I
Sure.
can make it a little bit longer if you guys want, and then we can close that after that.
Yeah, whatever you guys want to do. I'm fine
Destiny, are
with.
you okay with 3 or do you want more?
3's probably fine.
3 minutes?
All right.
Okay,
Closing arguments.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I open first, so usually the person who opens closes last.
See professional
So,
debate.
Destiny, I'll turn it to you. I'll put 3 minutes on the clock, and you can put your closing arguments here. And this was a fantastic discussion. Obviously, you have a good debate when the chat is like, if almost 50-50. So I'll go ahead and turn it to you, Destiny, and you can give us your closing arguments, and then I'll go turn it to Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, historically, like there have been examples of things that were considered insurrections that were incredibly small in nature, right? I don't know if anybody died at all in the Whiskey Rebellion. I'm pretty sure everybody that got arrested for that was like acquitted. It was just people basically essentially protesting the whiskey tax laws. This wasn't a massive deal that had
No,
like,
he's on
explosions and
YouTube
gunfire
only.
and deaths everywhere. I think that we just don't tend to view
He is
things as
on
insurrections
YouTube
so much anymore
only.
because we don't
And
tend
I
to have
watch his
insurrections
lives
much anymore because that's
all
become
the time.
norm as the United States has traveled through or journeyed through time.
Shout out
I
to
think
Andrew
that
Wilson.
the
Go check
four
him out.
elements that I gave,
The
I think were
Crucible.
pretty clearly
The
met on January
Crucible is
6th.
his
I think
YouTube
I've
channel.
demonstrated that we can imagine a ton of events that are riots that wouldn't fit the four elements. I understand that Andrew has a really hard time understanding the difference between resisting a law versus just breaking a law. Just because somebody goes out,
I'm actually
and
going to get
they
the link for you
engage
guys.
in rioting doesn't mean that they are trying to resist the law of rioting, that they're trying to make it so that rioting is legal. That's the goal of that particular riot. Oftentimes, riots can be said to come together to protest other types of things where people feel like the law isn't being executed in a reasonable manner. To say that a bunch of people that show up and end up rioting as a result of a protest that's against
Boom.
say,
We put the
cops, we
link
feel
in the
wasn't fairly
chat for
prosecuted,
you
is
guys
the
for the
same as a bunch of people
Crucible.
showing up
Go over
to
there and show
resist
him
the
love.
certification of the vote as laid
Subscribe
out
to
in
him,
the
man.
Electoral
He's
Count Act.
the
It's just
best.
not at all the same thing, but we can continue to misread the second element of this, and I understand why, and that's because if you grant the definition or any definition of insurrection, January 6th almost certainly follows from it, and the only way to escape January 6th as being labeled as an insurrection is to use either a ridiculous
I hope you've been enjoying this,
type of
Dean.
definition
You
that
know what I
literally
mean?
nobody
Thank you for your
historically has ever
donation
agreed to.
again,
And
bro.
you will
Thank
never
you.
find historical citations, people that use these very unique and contrived definitions of insurrection, or you set the bar of evidence as being unbelievably high, which is saying something like
Hell
Donald
yeah.
Trump needed to
Look
say,
at that. Hardwire
hey,
went
everybody,
and
we're gonna
subscribed
go
over
do
to
an
Crucible,
insurrection.
man.
Absent that, even if he's telling people to fuck like hell, even if he's tweeting the day before, Vice President Pence has the ability to overturn the election. Even if he's saying, like,
I'm friends
we need to go
with
down and march and fight
Andrew's
like hell and take our country back, none of
friend
this is gonna
group
matter if you don't
that
actually
is
use the word
all
insurrection, which
about
means there's
debates.
no such thing as
That's
an
what they
insurrection
do.
ever having
They practice debates
having
all
occurred in
the time
history.
live.
I would say that if you argue with somebody who doesn't believe in a particular definition of insurrection, ask them, has any insurrection ever occurred ever? Which would you consider an insurrection? And then once they start to consider something as an insurrection, say, hey, well, what are the elements that make this an insurrection? Or even more, you could say, historically, what have judges and lawmakers considered an insurrection? People like Andrew will never do that. Instead, they will just play word games all day and try to say, well, riots fit, and what about states, and all these other things that aren't really relevant to defining an insurrection, which, however you define it, January 6th clearly was.
All right. Okay. That was 2 minutes and 30
Hell
seconds.
yeah, Ghost Eagle.
I will turn it
Subbed over to
you,
Crucible,
Andrew,
man.
make your closing arguments. And then, Andrew, from what I understand, you wanted to open up the phone lines, right? And have a discussion with the people after?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Even if Destiny has other places to go, I'm willing to stick around for call-ins. I've always done that on the Crucible.
Sure.
I'm
I will,
sure there's
right
people.
now as we speak, Bills is firing up the phone
It's
line,
a big
so
deal,
we'll get
Dean.
that
It's a
phone
big
number
deal
out
to
and put it on
me.
the
When
screen,
people
and you
donate,
guys can
becomes
Dusty, if you wanna say, you can
members
telegraph to your
of the
audience, we can
channel,
answer some
man, it's
questions
huge
to
to
the
me.
people. But I will turn it to you, Andrew, to
That's
make
love.
your closing arguments. 3 minutes.
Yeah, well,
on clock.
it's really funny, this appeal to authority. Destiny grabs this entire nebulous
That's
definition from
damn
some guy
right.
that he respects on the internet, and then claims that this is some authoritative definition. This is the authoritative definition because I read it from some guy on the internet. Oh, okay, great. Even though the courts themselves have not ruled on this, and nobody was charged with insurrection. Nobody was charged. Again, one more time, nobody charged with insurrection. Trump acquitted of inciting an insurrection, which again, nobody was charged with. Talk about nebulous definition. He says, I'm playing word games. Meanwhile, he takes time today, all day, to assemble a 4-point, this is my definition, completely based on some other guy on the internet, which is crazy to me, right? This is Destiny's personal definition of what this means. And it clearly fits 3 of the criteria for rioting right off the gate. We only had an issue with
That's
2.
what I'm talking about,
And then
Dean.
when we apply these, and remember my opening statement, I said in my opening statement, this is going to become very broad, right? There's no way that we're not going to be able to call all sorts of things insurrections that clearly are not insurrections. We come up with the idea of what if a bunch of dope smoking hippies all show up with the united purpose of smoking dope on federal land in order to resist the federal law. And then a couple of them start a fire and one gets beaten up with a baseball bat or something like this. Suddenly that's an insurrection. Clearly, nobody would think that that was an insurrection. Clearly, nobody would think that that's a completely unreasonable standard, right? But it's the Destiny standard. And the reason, again,
Destiny
that he had
standard.
to have such a broad definition, the reason that he needed this, and he needed me to come in and give him some definition he could do an internal critique on, is because his idea that this was an insurrection is only there specifically to villainize the opposition for the purposes of demonization, so that when bad things happen to them, he can call them traitors. That's
Whoa!
it. That's the whole game. It's been his whole game now for a while. And this is what got him on Piers and all these other things, which I recently reviewed, was that take. And so in order for him to justify that take, he has to make you a traitor because you don't believe that that was an insurrection that nobody was charged with.
Okay.
Wow!
15. Guys, that was fucking fantastic discussion. Obviously people are going to have different viewpoints on where they go, but that's, I think, the beauty of any discussion like this in debate, that it,
That's what I love to
always
see.
has people with
Roy
different
boy.
viewpoints saying like, oh, I think this guy did better. I think this guy did better. So great discussion. from
That
both.
was
I am gonna open up-
fantastic. That was fantastic. Great debate. And, then they do call-ins and all of that. So this was also hosted on Fresh and Fit's YouTube channel. Go over there and subscribe, as well as Destiny on the panel. You guys can check them out on YouTube, Destiny. And the Crucible, man. The Crucible is it's obviously your boy over there, Andrew Wilson, man. He's solid, man. He's no doubt the best debater I've ever witnessed, and on every topic. He goes into semantics, and semantics is very important in debates. It can sound repetitive, but what it does is it whittles you down to force you to answer correctly and truthfully. And that's the whole end goal, is to do that and force it, because you know that the other side's not going to concede. You know what I mean? But that was on point for sure. And that's why I wanted to show you guys that, because I think that we need to highlight the radicalization of what's going on. And the thing is anytime there's radicalization that is being, like, basically what Andrew Wilson is doing is putting that fire out, because Destiny has a huge following, dude. I mean, he just does. He came from the gaming world like I did from back in the day, and then got into politics, kind of very similar like I did. But he goes to a different level and is very, very extreme with this shit. And that's why he has the following he does. And obviously the majority of people that follow him actually agree with his viewpoints and his worldview. So when a debate like this happens and having someone literally crush your entire worldview, it's very important, because Destiny was streaming to his audience. Andrew Wilson was streaming to his audience on the Crucible. And then, of course, Fresh and Fit was doing it too. But it's very important that we highlight the wrongdoings of any side. You know what I mean? But when a guy has the influence potential to actually radicalize his viewers, because we have a responsibility as content creators, because what we say up here can be taken as the gospel by others. And that's just true influence. It's just the way it works. I could say something and some of you would 100% believe me, because here's the thing. You guys know, though, the difference between me and him and something like that. I'm going to produce facts. I'm only going to show facts. I'm only going to argue facts. I'm not going to sit there and go over and get radicalized over some bullshit and be irresponsible with my platform. Now, Destiny has been extremely, extremely irresponsible with his platform. Now, do I think he should be canceled? No, I don't believe in cancel culture. I believe that we should have the freedom of speech for real. But I think we have the freedom to expose this bullshit. And I mean, hence why I showed it to you guys today. I think it's very important to see worldviews get crushed like that are radicalized. Because now his audience is going, you know what? Hold on. Maybe Destiny, his worldview is not the best of the best. You know, maybe this isn't what I should be going after. Oh, maybe I liked Andrew Wilson's point there. You know, that's important. That needs to happen. You know what I mean? Because we have just too much radicalization. And I love that it was actually exposed. You know what I mean? Andrew starts to the rifle guy. Absolutely. He put him in the fucking ground for sure, Dean. And that's typical of what he does. I've watched hundreds of debates with Andrew Wilson, and I've never seen him lose not one debate. He's just insane that way. He's an insane debater. Folks like this is what keeps people like the one who tried to assassinate Trump, their minds get clouded. Exactly, Ghost Eagle. And that's why I think it's important to expose it when their worldview gets totally exposed. We need to stop focusing on differences, focus on similarities, like someone else said in the chat. I do agree with that, Papa. That brings us together. The focusing on differences is divisive, and I do understand that. You know what I mean? Because I'm not all for divisive. I am 100%. Even if you guys are liberals here, you know, on the chat here watching whatever, I'm not against you. You know what I mean? I actually want your guys' worldview, and I want to hear you. You know what I mean? I love that we can have that open, safe spot here. You know what I mean? I always welcome the other side, 100%. That's just the way I am. I'm not going to dodge it. I'm not going to sit there and take away your First Amendment from what you want to say, all of that kind of stuff. I don't believe in censorship in that regard, unless you're, talking harm or violence in the chat, then of course that's different. But when it comes to politics, man, absolutely. I want you guys to be able to feel like you guys can always say whatever you want, but I do agree with you, Papa Penguin. I would say Sunday about 6 p.m. EST. Hell yeah. That's when Hardwire's show's going to be coming out, man. Go over to Hardwire's, YouTube channel and subscribe. He's going to be going, I don't know if he's doing a live or if he's going to do a video. Nonetheless, you will have something at 6 p.m. EST, man. Papa, that's like one of my good friends, and we agree just on about everything on politics. I have friends like that too. They should require a disclaimer on shows where they take creative liberty with facts like that. 100% dude. 100%. SNS, thank you for putting that out there. The thing is, when we realize we have more in common than we do differences, we can make a real change for the fucking better. Absolutely, Chuck. 100%. Straight Jacket says, I love liberals, but if we're talking, let's talk facts. I can't argue with fact, but leave your feeling out of it. Well, yeah, you can argue with facts. And the thing is a lot of the times they want to change definitions or skew different facts or avoid them. I'm all about factual everything. You know what I mean? You can't argue about anything until we're talking about facts, And that's not how you feel. That's not your truth. There ain't no your truth. There is the truth. That's it. You know what I mean? And I'm all about that. I agree, Papa, but it's tough when the other side jerks its narrative and attacks. Okay, hold on. It's kind of like trying to make friends with a bully who still is dead set on picking on you. 100%. The other side keeps its narrative. I would say live because I don't have time for editing and production yet. Eventually I will probably do both. Hell yeah, Hardwire. Much love, dude. I'm excited. Road Rage said, just up to you, Hardwire. Thank you for the link, SNS. That's a slap right there, dude. Guys, if you guys can do me a mega favor and like the video, please. That is the =1 metric of all of YouTube. It lets YouTube know that we're doing something right. You know what I mean? And it broadens, it brings the bigger audience, which is crazy. You know what I mean? That's crazy how the like button works like that. But it's completely free, and it helps out the show mega. If you guys can subscribe as well. If you guys haven't subscribed, I don't know why you haven't, man. Please do that. That would be awesome. Also, make sure to follow me on my Instagram account as I post everything pre-show, highlights of me, what I do. I do these like 15-second little vlog highlights all the time on my Instagram, so you guys can see it there first. Direct message me. Let me know it to you in the chat, and I will absolutely answer back. I answer back everybody. It may take me a day or two, but I will answer back. So I very much appreciate that. Also, make sure that if you guys can help out monetarily, man. Unfortunately, I got demonetized, now 4 months ago. It took, and I'm back, as of last month on monetization, but you have to create a paycheck in the, next 30 days. So now I haven't gotten paid yet. So I will here on the 1st, I believe. So I'm still waiting for a paycheck, right? So I am counting heavily on you guys on the donation side to, for the show. If you guys want to help out monetarily, and also you don't have to, but it comes with a shout out, man. We have Cash App, $Ball Valve. We have Venmo @BallValve and PayPal, ballvalvetv@gmail.com. I'll leave that scrolling for you guys there at the very bottom, man. With that being said, man, I can't thank you guys enough. You guys are the fucking bomb. Appreciate all of you guys in the Breakfast Club. Round of applause to all of you. I hope you enjoyed this episode, this whole show this morning. We got to get down and actually talk some real business over here and watch a really cool debate too. So with that being said, I hope that you all have a wonderful evening, afternoon, morning, wherever the hell you guys are from. Much love, loyalty, honor, and respect. We'll see you guys on the flip side. For members only tomorrow morning. Let's get it.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in its soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the sunless roar. back to cry.